Yes, welcome back. Yet we had looked at things which are contained under File menu. So let's look at things which are contained under Home menu. So I will come here and click on Home. So when we click on Home, we shall be able to see a number of things. First of all, in our under font, you see here where my cursor is under font. This is what we have. This is what we have. So right now our cursor is on what? Our cursor is on Home. So this is what is contained under Home. The whole of this actually is contained under Home. So we shall start by looking at things which are contained under this font. Simply here, what you can perhaps do is B. This B stands for bolding. You can bold, make your text to be bigger. For example, let's try to type something here. Frank in small letters. Frank is good. Let's use the name Seguia. Seguia is a good man. So before you do anything on this text, it is important, it's very important, I repeat, it is important for you to highlight this so that the computer will know that you are concentrating or you are working, you want to apply that particular thing on that text. So when if you want to highlight, make sure the cursor is on the last word. After that, you hold the left click on your mouse. After holding the left click, and then you move your hands towards your left. If you move your hands towards the left, that's how it will come. So our text is already highlighted. So I will click back on my Home. So when I click on B, this B stands for what? You try to hover on it. If you hover on it, to tell you what does. B stands for bolding, making something bolder. So when I click on it, you'll see something is happening. You'll see something is happening on our text. Are you seeing? Whenever I click on B, whenever I click on B, something is happening. So when I click on this B like this, you see it has already bolded. So that's how you can bold your text simply. So in some cases, maybe in exams or in some, maybe if you're doing some work, sometimes your text will need to be bolded. They will tell you to bold it. So we need to know how to bold it. So, and when you still hover on it, they have a shortcut, Control B, Control, and then you press B at the same time. But we shall look at shortcuts later on. So besides it, there's something letter like I. If you put the cursor on it, it is italic. Italic means that it will slant your text will slant. So let me try to click on it. Are you seeing it has slanted? So if I click on it again to remove the that part, if I click on it, it will make it italic. That my text will slide like this. So it will depend on if they tell you to italicize, that's when you do it. But if they have not told you to italicize, no, you don't have to do it. So sometimes you also need to underline your text. So what you do is you come here. Are you seeing this? Whenever you see something like that facing downward, that means it has options. So when I click on that, these are the options that I can use for underlining. So that U stands for underlining. So when I hover there, you see there's underlining. When I hover this, when I put on this, yeah, if I want this, yeah, I can click on it. Okay. So maybe if I want to change the color of the of the highlight, so I can click there. You see it has highlighted. So that's how you can highlight your text. We have just looked at how you can bold, how you can italicize, and how you can underline. So the next thing I want us to look at is how to increase the font size. So what I've typed here is what we call the font. The text itself is called the font. So we can either increase it from here. By default, you see something written there like 11. So when I click there, I can type in my own words. Maybe I want to increase it to 16. I put 16. Then I press my enter key on my keyboard. You see, the text has become bigger. So that's how you can increase your font size. In a similar way, there's this drop down also. I hope you can see this thing facing downwards. If you click on it, you can actually choose. You can choose the size that you want. If I want it at 36, I click on 36. Okay. Let's go back to home again. Then we also have what we call what? Still here, there's A with a triangle facing upwards. So if you click on it, the A with triangle facing upward is for increasing your font size. Hope you're seeing what's happening. That is for increasing. So the A with the triangle facing downward is for reducing. So if I want to reduce the font size, I can reduce them from there. Are you seeing? I can reduce them from here. So these are the different things you can apply on your text or fonts actually. So the next one is, maybe I want to make my text to be all in capital letters because they are here in small letters. So what I do is I can come here, I click on there's A and small a besides it. Are you seeing this? So that is for increasing the text case. We call it text case. So when I click on this drop down, you can either put it on lowercase or uppercase. Or uppercase meaning in capital letters. So when I click on uppercase, I expect my text to change into capital letters. Okay, so it has changed. So another thing we can perhaps look at here is changing the font color, the color of your font. So it is being represented by this. So it's just simple. It's just a matter of putting the cursor on it and it tells you what it does. Okay, so whenever I put the cursor there, if I click on this, it will give me the more option. If I want it to be red, I can click there. If I want it black, I click here, but I want it red, so I will click there. So simply, if I go back to home again, then yeah, that is what perhaps you can do there. Lastly, I want to type something like I want to type A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared, or 2 squared plus 3 squared is equal to something squared. So how do I do that? First of all, I first put my 2, then I'll need to put to power 2. So when I press 2 again, it will put 22. But how do I put this 2 to go? How do I put this, make this 2 to go up there? So what I do is, after pressing my 2, I click on home. You see there's something x to power 2 here. X to power 2, we call it superscript. So when I click on that superscript once, it will take for me the cursor up. So I can now press my 2. So the next thing I have to put is the plus sign. You put the plus sign by pressing your shift key on your keyboard without leaving it, and then you press equal sign. Shift equal sign. So you realize that the plus is being put up there, yet I wanted it here. So what you do is, that means the superscript is yet active. So I will go and click on the superscript to deactivate it. After deactivating, the cursor will come here. So I can now press my shift and plus button. So that comes like that. The next thing is to press 3. Then after pressing 3, I wanted to put 3 squared. So what I do is, if I put 2, it will bring like 32. So I will click on home again. I click on my superscript. After clicking on superscript, then I click on my 2. Then I want to put equal sign. Equal sign will have to be here. That means I have to go to home. I remove my superscript by clicking there. Then I press equal sign. Okay. So I can now put what is supposed to be there. So that is simply how you can play with superscript. So last one is, maybe if you want to play with if you want to put maybe 11 base 10. 11 base 10 for those ones who did mathematics. If I wanted to put base 10, you realize that you put yourself here. So what I do is, I will come to home. I will click. There's X2 somewhere here. You see, with the 2, that 2 is written downwards, like at the base. So it's called subscript. So when I click on it, so the cursor will come down. So I can now write my 10. Then maybe 2. So if I put 2 to what? To maybe to base to 8 base 2. So what I do is I click there, I click on my superscript, and then base 2. So that is it. So thank you guys. In the next video we shall look at things still under home, but we shall look at the things which are contained under the paragraph. Okay, thank you guys for following. Hope you're enjoying the video. You're really doing something meaningful, and that is my hope.